Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21. The gopis glorify Krishna's flute. Text 20. Evam vidha bhagavata yah vrindavana charinah varnayantah varnayantyah midhah gopyah kridah tatmayatam yayuh. Evam vidha bhagavato ya vrindavanacharinah varnayanchyo midho gopyah kridastanmayatam yayuh. Evam vidha bhagavato ya vrindavanacharinah varnayanchyo midho gopyah kridastanmayatam yayuh. Evam vidha bhagavato Ladies, varnayanchyo midho gopyah kridastanmayatam yayuh. Evam vidha, such Bhagavata of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yah, which Vrindavanacharina, who was wandering in the Vrindavana forest, Varnayantyah, engaged in describing, Midhaha, among one another, Gopyaha, the gopis, Kridaha, the pastimes, Tatmayatam, fullness in ecstatic meditation upon him, Yayuhu, they attained. Translation. Thus narrating to one another the playful pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he wandered about in the Vrindavana forest, the gopis became fully absorbed in thoughts of him. Purport. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada comments, this is a perfect example of Krishna consciousness, to somehow or other remain always engrossed in thoughts of Krishna. The vivid example is always present in the behavior of the gopis. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya declared that no one can worship the Supreme Lord by any method that is better than the method of the gopis. The gopis were not born in very high Brahmana or Kshatriya families. They were born in the families of Vaishyas, and not in big mercantile communities, but in the families of cowherd men. They were not very well educated, although they heard all sorts of knowledge from the Brahmanas, the authorities of Vedic knowledge. The gopis' only purpose was to remain always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Again, translation. Thus narrating to one another the playful pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he wandered about in the Vrindavana forest, the gopis became fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamini Chinmine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Chinmine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's the last verse of this chapter, and mainly verses which was before that, they was covering very high topics. Gopis, they don't speak about some how to say, low subjects. They speak about very high topics, and they always observed. So that's the conclusion, that by always merging in this subject, by discussing between each another, they was on the highest level of perfection. So what do we have in common with this? I mean, gopis, they somewhere there. We are here, and well, first point is that that's our prayojana, that's which we should understand, we should reach. That's where we are going to. Avyartha Kalatvam, that one of the qualities of the person who, on the level of bhava, he don't waste his time. He is always merged into service of Krishna. Well, we can ask the question, what should I do right now to reach this stage? Yeah, because obviously we cannot always think of Krishna, we cannot always be pure in Krishna consciousness. So we have gradual process, bhavet kramaha, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is described that first we should start from regulated devotional service, Vaidhi Bhakti, and on the level of Vaidhi Bhakti, when Rupa Goswami starts to elaborate on this topic, he tells that, well, first of all, he tells that there is no raga. Sometimes devotees, they try to, present that they have some feelings in the beginning, that they trying to, squeeze something out of them and try to present that, I have some feelings for Krishna. But Rupa Goswami explained that in the beginning we don't have anything. Yatra raga navaptatvat. Raga we don't have. That's why it's called regulated devotional service. And he tells that Shasanenaiva Shastrasya, that we should base all our activities on the basis of Shastra. And what is stimuli for that. He gives it later in a few verses. He tells that motive for that is the fear of samsara. Gopis, they really fully absorbed in Krishna. They relish bhakti rasa. They don't want anything except Krishna. They cannot think of anything except Krishna. They cannot do anything because feelings are so intense on their level that it's impossible for a person to do anything else except serving to Krishna. But on our level, we cannot do anything else except merging into Maya. So that's our level from which we start. And that's why it's prescribed that we should discuss how this world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. Because otherwise, if we don't have fear of samsara, then we will try to enjoy this world. We will not see that this is a dangerous place. We will not see that all our attempts to become happy will lead us to miseries only. And we will not do much or at all in devotional service because everything is okay. And that's the danger of now commonly spread preaching that material success, you should be material successfully, family life is your devotional service. I think that in India it's quite widely promoted, yeah? That you need to be successful. At least on the West we have this preaching, like we have few sannyasis who go in here and there and teach how to make money, and they preach that if you are not rich, then you cannot be really a devotee. Devotee means those who reach, yeah. But that's not true, because bhakti is not dependent on any material designations, on money, followers, etc. Sorry, what was the line? Yes. So that we should not preach this kind of things, because otherwise devotees will not be able, they will not have a chance to really start devotional practice, because we already engrossed in this material life for dozens of lifetimes. And we not used to serve Krishna. And if someone comes and we tell him that, you continue your material activities, just do it for Krishna, but the person don't know how to do it for Krishna. For Krishna, we can start to do something if we really have big experience in Shravanam, Kirtanam, if we know the philosophy, if we have the taste for practice of Krishna consciousness, for serving Him, then we can connect. It's art. Srila Prabhupada often use this word, that it's the art of connecting your activity with Krishna. But on the initial levels, it's not possible at all to do that. In the beginning, we should merge ourselves as far as possible into direct processes of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there is no possibility for us to break these knots which we were making for many lifetimes. And as we said, it should be on the basis of fear of samsara. Otherwise, if we still have some attachments, we have attachments, it's obvious, but we should not have the idea, we should not cultivate the idea that I can be happy in this world. Otherwise, it's impossible to progress in devotional service. And next thing which Rupa Goswami tells it that this famous verse, Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavya najatu chit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayor eva kinkaraha. He tells that, but the point of all these rules and regulations which is given in this regulated devotional practice, is to always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's all other rules and regulations are Kinkaraha, they are servants of this main rule. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells very interesting thing in the commentary to this verse. He tells that yes, I will read. Because all rules are dependent upon remembrance of Vishnu, if one remembers Vishnu, what is instructed in all the other rules is accomplished. Means that that's why it's proclaimed that if one executes devotional service, then even if he failed to do some other activities which is prescribed to him, there is no loss. Tyaktva svadharmam charanam bhujam harir, this verse explains this in details. But apart from then, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states very interesting thing in the next sentence. He tells that, and because all prohibitions, such as killing cows and brahmas, are also included in the rule to remember Vishnu, if one forgets Vishnu, that person should be considered to have accrued unlimited sins produced by committing all the prohibited acts. Means that if someone doesn't remember Krishna, he is considered to kill the cow, to kill the brahmana, brahmahatya, gohatya, all these sins, all possible sins is he occurred on him. And why is that? I mean, from the Vedic perspective, we have pious acts, we have impious acts. One should follow and discriminate what is good, what is bad. Why so extreme? Because Bhakti gives a very extreme point of view on that. Bhakti tells that only Bhakti is pious, everything else, even karma is impious. Everything, even if you follow rigidly your prescribed duties, you're very good behaved, etc. But if you don't remember Krishna, you're impious. And question comes, why? Why? Well, it's very easy, because we don't have anything in common with this body to which this prescribed duties is connected to, because we are the soul, and our constitutional position is to always remember Krishna. As we see here, gopis, they eternally liberated consorts of Krishna, and they always merge into him. That's our natural position. We all should finally, ultimately came to this level. But right now, we fully identify ourselves with the body, with the mind, and we think in these terms. And it's very interesting how Maya can act, because sometimes we can find that even doing different varieties of things in Krishna consciousness, it can be, I mean, not that everyone will face this, but we can find that even in the epicenter of Krishna consciousness, we don't remember Krishna. Like sometimes we can hear of devotees who was fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, they was among devotees, and at some point of time they just bloop, suddenly, as if suddenly. But usually it's happened because devotees, they commit some offenses. I mean, everyone commits some offenses, but they don't disclose their mind to the others, because as it also mentioned in this verse, it's midho, means gopis, they were speaking among each other, and there's a famous, well, it's a few at least verses in Bhagavatam which also use this word in connection with interaction between devotees, like paraspara anukathanam bhagavan bhagavad paraspara anukat mithoratir mithastushtir nivritir mitha atmanaha, means that devotees, they come together and they discuss between each other what is their problems, and they discuss glories of the Lord. And in the commentaries, Acharya explains that one devotee how it looks like on the level of a regulated sadhana. One devotee comes to another devotee and he tells, he shares that yesterday I give up this material attachment. And another devotee hearing that became enthusiastic. He also think, oh, I also need to, how to say, to remove this from my consciousness. That's how it works, sadhu sangha. Otherwise, if we in our own world, if we don't share our thoughts, and I'm not speaking about, sometimes some persons, they, put ocean of thoughts on you, really, too much. They just want, they doesn't control their speech, and they just want, but I'm speaking about sharing problems which we have, and really try to inspire each other in the devotional service, because it's often can be heard that devotees, they greet each other like in kind of social way. It's not bad, of course, like when we say, ask each other like, how are you? And I'm fine, okay, and you, oh, also fine. What was this? I mean, we just waste our time basically, and because we don't do any practical things, we don't know really what's going on each part. We just, say some cliché, some, custom words. Yeah, you okay? Okay, you okay? Okay. Like basically, it's from karmi world. Yeah, they always trying to impress each other and sustain this illusion that everything is okay. Everything is not okay, completely not okay. His wife divorced him, he lost his job, but when he asks, how are you? Okay, I'm okay. That's how Maya works, yeah? So, one time one devotee, he was so fed up with this, how are you, okay? So one devotee, not known to him, just on the street, in Mayapur, there was a lot of devotees, came to him and asked, oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you? And he became angry with him, because he was really fed up with this, how are you, I'm fine. So he thought, why are you asking me this? Why don't you ask me, did I read Srimad Bhagavatam? How is my spiritual, practice? If you really care about me, then, ask these things. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, I will ask you, I will, and finally it leads to discussion of Bhagavatam. So this devotee, oh, yeah, really, asking him. Why I ask him this not very smart question. So they start to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. And usually if someone asks, how are you? And he gets negative reply, usually no one tries to, go deeply. Usually if one person asks, how are you? I'm bad. And usually people say, okay, I need to go say, okay, Hare Krishna. Because, I mean, his intention was not to, really help that person. It's just kind of social interaction which we used to from this karmi world. It's just one sample. But the point that I'm making is that devotees, if we have some problems inside, we should go to someone whom we trust and who is more senior to us, who can help in our problems, and we should share it. Otherwise, it just suddenly happens here and there. Can happen. Devotee can be, and as I said, in the most you can say favorable position, but then bloop. Yeah, so we always should seek for sadhu sangha, and we always should be careful to analyze what's going on in our mind. For gopis, there is no such troubles. They should not analyze what goes on in their mind, because everything which goes there, it's Shuddha Sattva, Visheshatva, Prema. It's direct manifestation of internal potency of the Lord. It's not separable from their mind, from the consciousness. There is no possibility for them to think of anything except Krishna. But for us, we deal with another kind of mind. It's fully material, it's full of bad vasanas, impressions, and we always should analyze what goes on. If we see, by the mercy of the Lord, that something goes wrong, then it's good just, to share it, not to, keep it in your mind and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's completely break the devotion which we can have by the mercy of the devotees. Yes, also in the commentary, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that gopis was not born in very high Brahmana or Kshatriya families. So it's also a very important thing that devotion doesn't depend on any external signs. It sounds easy, we all know this, but what does that practically means? Well, practically means that there is no, it's actually offensive to discriminate it. This Vaishnava is, he's from, carpenter family, or from, what considered low in India. Some worker family, yeah, he's low. This devotee, he's from Brahmana family, but actually it's Naraka Buddhi. Yes, this famous verse which Srila Prabhupada often quoted regarding considering Shalagram as a stone, deity as a stone, as a just metal statue, and considering Vaishnava as a person who get his qualities according to his jati, to his family, to his birth. So that's offensive, because we should understand that from one point of view, there are some conditioning and we should deal with this, but from another point of view, which is more important, if person follow practice of devotional service, it qualifies him to be honored in eyes of the others. Of course, level of honor also different. In Nectar of Instruction and in other places also it's discussed. But still we should not discriminate that this Vaishnava is higher because he is from this nationality, this Vaishnavas is lower. Like for example, this war between Russia and Ukraine goes on, and a lot of recently I was speaking with one devotee from Ukraine, so he was describing me the situation there, that there's a whole group of devotees, Ukrainian devotees, who are literally ready to kill another devotee who is in Russian body, only because they're Russians. So that's completely material level. It's nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. It's completely offensive, and it's even on material level, it doesn't make any sense. So gopis, who are they? They are, from external point of view, simple, uneducated village cowherd girls. Yeah, so, and that's our goal actually. If someone will ask us where we want to work, because that's mainly what people interested in, where you work, who is your boss. So if you will say that my boss is uneducated village cowherd girl, will they appreciate? They, of course, they will not, because what I'm trying to point out is that our values is very different from. That's how it should be, because otherwise, if again, as we said, if we promote this material success, etc., then our boss will be some karmi on whom we should work and whom we should serve and who will give us money. But that's not the point. And that's why gurukuls are so important, because without gurukuls, even devotees who wants to give Krishna consciousness to their children, they don't have, in most cases, any other option than to send their children to the school, and then what they will get in school, they will get all these karmic ideas, and they will try to succeed into this speed run where no one win. Everyone is trying to get some good job with the biggest salary, but who actually does so? I mean, not so many, only a few. All the others, they struggle. Like right now, they have this artificial intelligence. It's everywhere. Everyone is using this ChatGPT, this, that. And what's the result? The result is that a lot of young persons who was struggling in the school, who was struggling in the universities, now they cannot get the job, because these specialities for which they was studying for how many years, 15 years or 16 years, now it's done by this AI, and they just left out. In USA, a lot of such people, and on the West, a lot of such persons. So they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to earn money, because they learned in some particular way, but this profession is not required anymore. Before also was that, like, I've spent also 16 years, and my profession right now is not valid. I mean, what I have taught, I cannot apply. I need to learn again from the very beginning what they introduced, invented. So that's why Srila Prabhupada so much tells so much about Gurukul, about our own social infrastructure. Then we can boldly proclaim what is our goal and who is our boss. That this is not educated, simple village cowherd girls. I will finish here if any additions or corrections, please.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you. It was a very nice connection. This word mitaha, which also can be, what is the word-to-word meaning? I don't remember here. It's also mutual. It also means mutual. Like you explained that. That's very nice. That verse. Immediately, I also thought of that verse of how devotees, they come together, they discuss about Krishna, and then they mutually discuss about Him. They glorify Him. And exactly the Bhagavatam verse explains that that's the only way by which a person can be satisfied. One can also develop. Nowadays they speak so much about relationships, interrelationship, this and that. All these things are completely bogus. That is possible only by remembering about Krishna, discussing about Krishna, coming in association with devotees, engaging in service, in thoughts of Krishna. That's the only solution. And exactly the gopis are setting forth the example that simply by thinking of Krishna, discussing about Krishna, and their thoughts are totally absorbed. So it's a very nice connection that you made. That's a beautiful point. And that's the Bhagavatam conclusion is all about that. That you have to engage in the service of the Lord, remember about the Lord, and help and encourage each other. Even the Bhagavad Gita verse, Manchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam, the Parasparanu Katanam, both the verses are reminding about that. That Parasparam also, generally when we come in association with devotees, we should Of course, we may be dealing with many practical things, but as you said in the class, we should think of Krishna. We should ask, so what did you read? What was your realization? What did you understand? So how we can improve our service, how we can improve our loving relationship with the Lord. And that really sets the standard. And that's how the devotional service begins, and that's how a devotee gets satisfaction. So that's a very nice point. So I just remembered that. And another point also, so that's also the from where the bhakti arises by the association of devotees. Because the series of verses in the Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, this is what, the next verse it says that bhaktya sanjayata bhaktya. So from bhakti only bhakti arises. That's another point. And another one practical thing that I thought was, recently I went to Chennai. So I just met one of my cousins. He said that, almost it's many of the software engineers, they may lose their job because the artificial intelligence is taking over some chat GPT. He said that whatever coding he does, chat GPT does double the time, more efficiently and in a very short time. So people may lose their job, and it's all become very impersonal also. Of course, so that's the ultimate point. And also another point that you said that that in the devotees have this idea of designations. People have this idea of designation that it's too much in India actually. They have, so what is your background? So you are from you are from which caste, or you are from where are you working? What is your study? Among devotees also they have this problem sometimes. So are you MSc, or you So this verse very nicely says the gopis are such simple cowherd girls. In fact, that one of the commentaries it is said that they are not even there are mercantile class Vaishyas. They are in a very simple household work they do. That's what they are. So there is nothing big that is required to practice devotional service. All you need is faith, and then sincerity and the eagerness to serve Krishna. So I just thought these points. Thank you for that connection of that verse. It's really very apt. Hare Krishna.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शिव प्रभु